Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today we're going to be working in the shade garden, planting several new varieties of plants in there. Okay, so this video has already changed a little bit since I started it. So right now we're going to go ahead and switch to, I installed a new shade sail within the garden. After I installed the original shade sail that I got at Lowe's, many of y'all told me that I could actually get a custom size on Amazon and that I should get it about 1 to 1.5 feet smaller than my actual space so that I could pull it taut and it would cover more area. I ended up doing that. I was happy with the price. It cost me about $90 to do the whole space. I ended up ordering, I believe it is a 7-foot by 16-foot sail in here, and I went with a little bit of darker color like y'all suggested. I originally had a lighter gray. I went with a darker gray this time, and I'm really pleased with the results, but here's me putting it up. Okay, it's up. Let me walk you guys inside and show you what it looks like. So super happy with the new sail. Look how far forward it comes. And as soon as you walk in here, like we're right at noon. So this is the most sun that it will get. Not bad at all. Some of these areas will get no sun. I mean, it gets filtered sun. I should say filtered because, I mean, this is filtered. This lets water through and a little bit of sunlight, but dramatically casts a bunch more shade in the space. So I'm absolutely loving it. It feels so peaceful out here. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm just so excited. I really like it. But today we're going to be planting up some new plants. So let me go ahead and grab a chair and let's sit down and talk about what we're doing. Okay, this is what I was hoping for. I was hoping to have this kind of just solitude in this garden and for it to feel more enclosed. I literally have goosebumps. Just like almost a secret space for myself. And I'm really excited because it just feels amazing in here. And I thank y'all so much for those suggestions. This is one of the reasons that I love putting up these videos, specifically for the responses and suggestions back to you all, from you all. You guys have the best stuff. I wouldn't have known that I could get a custom one on Amazon. And now look at this space. And it was $90 for the custom size, and the one I paid for at Lowe's was like $50 for a size that didn't necessarily work and was too small and that kind of stuff. So I was very happy. I'll put a link below to the company that I ordered from, and you can just go and I'll put that in the link description if this is something you're interested in. It comes in a million different colors, a million different sizes, whatever it is that you're looking for. But I am excited. I've got a whole bunch of plants up here. Originally, I was just going to plant the Heucheras and I was going to be potting up that new filbert tree. But I decided against potting up the filbert tree at this point because I have a few other plants that need to get potted up in the shade garden, specifically some Japanese anemones that I dug up from the front garden. I have a coral berry and I had some Tradescantia that I picked up 3 different varieties. And they're all going to kind of be tucked in different places, but I'm really excited to get started on this. So let's chat. Got my trusty journal. Okay, so Heucheras. I started planting heucheras a couple of years ago. Proven Winners Direct had sent me some to try out, and I really, really love them. However, I planted them in the wrong place. I planted them in too much sun, and while they did beautifully fall through winter and through spring, once the hot summer hit, they were rough shape. And many of y'all told me that I needed to move them to the new shade garden. So I already moved one, which is down there in a pot over. But these other ones are new, and so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about them and then show you where we're going to plant them. Okay, so heucheras, they are definitely more shade-loving plants. They can take some light morning sun. But even for me, when I originally planted them out front, I'll put some pictures up of them. They were beautiful. They got morning sun and afternoon shade, and they still were just really had a hard time. I think a couple of things, they didn't have enough shade and they didn't have enough water. So I think one of the things I will be doing is when I plant these up in this shade garden, they are going to receive drip to the base of them so that they can stay well watered throughout the hottest part of the year. Now, heucheras are typically grown for their beautiful foliage, unique foliage. They do produce flowers, typically whites to pinks to lavender tones, and those flowers can be used as cut flowers. They're very interesting, delicate, unique kind of filler flowers, but I'm not necessarily growing them for that purpose. Basically, I chose these. I was trying to think about if I was in this kind of deeper, darker spot, what plants might look cool in this space to add some contrast. So let's start with the first one I chose, which is the Primo Black Pearl right here, also known as a coral bell, or it's a heuchera hybrid as well. Does love sun to shade. It gets about 8 to 10 inches tall by 18 to 20 inches wide, so it can get much bigger. Now you can certainly, cut this back to kind of keep it in check, which works too. It's hardy in zones 4 to 9, and it's known for shiny jet black leaves with purple undersides, which I just think is so beautiful. It flowers pink and white around mid-summer time. So that's the first variety of heuchera. The next variety I got has been on my list for a little while for shade plants, and it is called Fun and Games I Spy Heucherella, and this is from Proven Winners as well. It's part shade to shade. It is 8 to 10 inches tall by 16 to 20 inches wide. It is hardy in zones 4 to 9. It's known for its amber yellow spring foliage with deep rose centers and mellow to chartreuse green with a silver overlay. Craziness. And the colors kind of change depending on how much sun you have on these. It kind of adapts to that. It also has bubblegum pink flowers that bloom in late spring. So excited about that one as well. And then the last one I really, really like, it's called Dolce Silver Gumdrop Coral Bells, or heuchera hybrid. And it's part shade to shade. It's a little bit smaller in that it's only 6 to 8 inches tall by 14 to 16 inches wide. It is hardy in zones 4 to 9, and it's known for a semi-glossy iridescent silver leaves are topped with vibrant pink flowers. Leaves have rosy overtone late season. Very cool. Like on the bottom, they're kind of like a purpley pink kind of color. On top, they definitely have like a little bit of an iridescent quality. They're very, very cool. I'm excited about this one as well because it's such a unique foliage. You don't get a lot of gray, and so this is kind of fun to incorporate in this space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where I'm going to place these particular heucheras. They're going to go in the Vigo garden over here, where I'm going to place these particular heucheras, and then from there we're also going to go ahead and use some plant tone, get them planted up, and then run drip to each of these. Okay, so we're going to put the bigger one, the Black Primo, towards the back. And then I'm going to bring the silver towards the front here. I think it'll be really nice. And then I'm going to tuck in the I Spy. So it's kind of large, medium, small regarding heights. And I'm really hoping that they're going to fill in this area. And then over time, like right here, I have the hellebore. I know I'm cramming these plants in, but I'm really hoping that they will take turns shading each other and casting shade on their roots below them, which I think is going to work really nice. Over here, I have the oak leaf hydrangea that Kristen gave me. It's very happy. It's already grown quite a bit, and it's going to come up and eventually shade over a bunch of this area. Back here in the corner, I have a pigeonberry that I don't know if it's alive or not. So those of you who grow pigeonberry, would you let me know if yours have started showing up yet? I might move it out a little bit, right around there. And then right back there, in probably maybe later this week or next week, I have clematis. There's going to be 2 varieties of clematis that are tucked back here, a pink and a white, I believe, that are going to be climbing up over here. So it's going to be beautiful. There's going to be a lot of focus on foliage versus flowers in the shade garden, which I'm actually thrilled about. Back here I have a closed drip line running through. This runs around the whole outside edges of the shade garden. And it is closed. It doesn't have any emitters in it, but I can add emitters at any point in time. So all I have to do is I have to take my 1/4 inch drip line right here. I need a straight line connector that'll go in this end, and then it'll pop in this end, and then I put an emitter to whatever size I end up cutting this. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, just so you know, setting up drip is not as hard as you think, and it is a massive game changer to your garden. It makes things so much easier, especially in my area where the weather is so stinking hot. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straight line barb, let me work it in one to the end of each of these pieces. I cut 3 pieces because I want an individual emitter going to the base of each individual plant. All right, just like that. Next, I'm going to take this, just pokes a hole in the line. So I'm going to just poke 3 holes, a couple inches apart. Just like that. And now my emitters can just pop, or my barbs can just pop right in. So now I have 3 lines coming off. And then I add adjustable emitters at the base, so they screw open and closed, and that allows me to adjust the amount of water depending on what each plant needs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tuck these back for right this second while I continue planting. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the black pearl at the base. Go ahead and add some plant foam. Good. It's not too compacted. Looks good. So I'm going to nestle that down in there. Maybe a touch higher. Here we go. All right, then I'm going to go right here with the silver drop, or gumdrop, silver drop, silver gumdrop. Go. And it'll be really pretty if these leaves kind of float over the edge some. And then the last one, part way in the middle. Look at those colors together. I picked these up at Homegrown. I think they were $12.95. Let me see. $12.98 each. Is this Homegrown? No, I bought these from Home Depot. $12.98 each. Very, very pretty. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn on the sprinkler, or the drip irrigation. These are my lines back here. So I've got that turned on. You'll hear it in a second. All right, so these are emitters that are adjustable. So I'm going to change them to just kind of a little bit of a drip like that. All right. And then what I'll do with each one is I will come through and I will use a landscape staple to pin it at the base of the plant. This is what I love about I mean, you can do this to like clothes. You can do it to just like a little drip. It's good stuff. I love the adjustable ones. Last one. All right, there we go. Okay, let me get this cleaned up a little bit. I really need to organize all my drip irrigation stuff. I just have it crammed into this box. I need to put some more effort in that. Okay, right here I have a Virginia that Kristen gave me, and that one's all tucked in, and it's coming back from last season. I did have two ferns in here that did not do as well, specifically because I don't think I watered them well enough. But what I do want to do is I have some, it's called Fantasy Jasmine anemones that I dug up from the front garden area. And they are known for spreading. So what I want to do is I want to get them tucked into this container instead of like the big container. Basically, I'm just going to go in with some plant tone. And I'm just going to go ahead and get these replanted up in here. Should be super simple. Just making sure I'm getting some of the roots tucked down. Just like that. I think I'm going to put 2 pieces in here. This one had a big long root. And I would love if they took over this container and started spilling out. I think that would be super fun. And then I'm going to put one down low where I had an additional fern that did not come back. Put this guy down here. Just like that. And then I'll put the emitters back around. Okay, so let's talk about the Tradescantia. Now, I grew some of this on my front porch last year and loved it. And I was over at Covington's in Rowlett, Texas, and they had several very interesting varieties. Typically, this is known as like spider wart, purple heart, wandering Jew, wandering dude. People call it a lot of different things. Tradescantia is its like official name. And this stuff grows really prolifically. It's a really easy to care for plant, as long as you remember to give it water. That's kind of important. It thrives in full sun to shade, so it does well in both areas. If it's going to be in the shade, it's not going to grow as fast as it would if it was in the sun. So that's something to remember. However, during the hottest parts of the year, if the Tradescantia is in full sun, most likely it will die back all the way to the ground and then come back when your temperatures cool off. So that's something important to remember. It's grown a lot as an indoor and an outdoor plant, so you can do both. Very easy to propagate once you get started. So I'm really hoping that these do well, and then I can propagate them and plant them in some other places throughout my yard. They are native to North America. They do have flowers about 1/2 inch to 2 inches in like lavenders, whites, and pinks and such, but they're not really grown for that. They're grown for the foliage. You can get them in several different shapes in that they can grow upright, they can grow spreading, and they can grow trailing. And they do prefer a nice moist soil. So what I'm going to be doing with these is I think I'm going to plant one of them. I think I'm going to plant in the Vigo garden over here. And then the other two, these smaller ones, I think I'm going to plant in some of my portrait bust containers to have them sitting up here in this space. Now, The ones that are in the portrait bus containers are not going to have drip set up to them because I don't actually have holes in the bottom of these planters. So I will hand water them, but it will last for a long time because it won't have water to drain out. It'll be very important that I don't overwater them. That'll be super important. But I thought it might be nice to start having some collections of plants that are tucked up among this particular area. Look at me, I'm actually using my potting bit. I'm so excited. Okay, so I got an old wasp nest there. I've got a couple of kind of bus containers. I think I'm going to go ahead and do all 3 of the Tradescantia in the bus containers and then have them up here in the space. Let me take this down. And I have 3 different varieties. The first variety is called Velvet Hills, and it has just like this really soft texture. Actually, at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was a lamb's ear. So I think that's going to go in the largest one because that is the largest one. Then this next variety is called Sana or Sana, S-A-N-N-A. This one actually has more information. It goes to 6 to 8 inches tall and then 24 inches spacing, striking foliage, irregular stripe, green, pink, and white leaves. So I think this one's going to go in this guy right here. And then finally this guy, which looks a little bit more common. This particular variety is Nanook, N-A-N-O-U-K, and it is about 6 to 8 inches tall and spacing is about 24 inches apart. Its hardiness is only to 32 degrees. So these are both tropical. These are all tropical. And so by planting them in these containers, it'll be easy for me to put in a greenhouse or bring inside during cold weather, which would be ideal. Now, like I said before, there's no holes in these. I probably should add holes at one point, but I'm not going to stress about it right now, especially because I'm going to put them up here and I'm not really wanting them to leak water everywhere. So I can just water them on my own and then have a week or so in between waterings. So their roots are starting to wrap a little bit, so I'm just going to loosen those up a little bit. And I love the idea that this will end up looking like hair for these. I think will be super cool. Yeah, these roots are starting to wrap. I'm just going to loosen those up a little bit before I tuck this in. So I can definitely bring these in colder weather, or I can propagate them and just take cuttings before the winter and then have new plants ready to go for the spring. Look at those roots. All right, I'm going to keep the labels in here. And let's go ahead and water these and clean off the bench. I need like a brush for cleaning off the bench. Keep my eye out for that. Don't want to go too crazy with the watering. I do want to clean up their outsides a little bit. Okay, I like those. I don't know if they're going to stay right here, but I've got them set up for now. They're super fun. I think they're going to be fun to enjoy when I come out here and I'm working. I think that I might like them better pushed towards the center. I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, I like that better. We'll decide what to do with those later. Yeah, I like that. I think they're pleasant looking. This one cracked some years back. It's fine, I just leave it. I end up picking up these from Home Goods. It's typically where I see them. I haven't seen as many in recent years, but I have a few of them. My husband thinks they're super creepy, but I like them. As an art major, I really like them. And I studied abroad, and I've been to the Louvre, and I've been to all the cool museums, and I love statuary. My degree was in sculpture, so I like this kind of stuff. Okay, nice pleasant afternoon in the shade garden. It's nice. I'm excited about some of the color that's starting to interact. I'm excited how this is starting to fill in. I want this to be overfilled. I want the shade garden to just have stuff everywhere. I want it to be something where you have to look and dig a little bit to see the different plants or statues and such that's in it. So that'll be really fun. This guy, I think I'm going to start working on this weekend. It's going to have a lot of those tuberous begonias that I got from Proven Winners, some of the begonias that I grew. We're also going to be doing some Swedish ivy and some ferns in here. So that's going to be a really fun project coming up soon. I can't wait to do that. Also, I'll be running drip to all of that. I'm going to be running drip to everything in the shade garden because it's on the side of the house. I can't see it from any of my windows. I can't see it from my back porch. I literally have to come over here to see what's going on. And with that in mind, I know myself enough that I'll forget that it's over here. And so having everything set up to drip is going to be key to keeping everything alive in this shade garden. All right, you all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Heucheras. Have you had success with them or have you had failures? Because I've either run into people who like love them and they grow like weeds in their gardens, or people who have never been able to grow them because they've just been so difficult. So let me know which you are, and if you have a particular variety that you prefer, especially if you're in a zone 8 area. I'm very interested. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you guys comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.